Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you for the newcomers. Thank you for the newcomers. Sorry about the noise, it's my son. I haven't been very active. To encourage you to always check on your health. It's very important. For us who are reaching 40s, it's very important to not take things lightly, okay? Lightly. Today I will try to make video because I have some how many times now I prepare. So you see I have in psychology that we are using today, and I didn't know what it was at the time when this young guy was doing at the time, and that is a young guy was a teenager. It just shows you that when your mindset is focused on something, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing can stop you if you have the good mindset. Okay, and that happened in high school years, and it was a classmate who was half. He was mixed race. His mother was from my country. Obviously, she was black, and the father was Chinese. Okay, the father was Chinese, and the relation, the way he came, from out of this relationship, it wasn't like really a real relationship. Okay, I have to explain that clearly, because you have to understand the context before I get into his story. And that story is a way to complete my previous video when I talk about I didn't prepare my life. I wish I could have learned, before. So the story was, his mother was a single mom of, I don't know how many children she had, maybe 4 or 5 of different fathers, and all of them were black except him. I think she had maybe 5 kids, and he was the only one who was mixed race. So I don't know how she met the Chinese man at the time. It's a really country like in Africa, in small town, in the early 90s. He was born in 1980 something for sure. You understand that this relationship could not get anywhere far at the time if the man was just there for a little work. He was a worker. Maybe he came for some contract, I don't know how. It wasn't somebody who has money for sure. So he was just there, sent by the Chinese government. He was a Chinese man, and he went to work, and then they have this little relationship, this little situation together. I think the woman fell in love, I guess, but I don't know about the man, and it didn't last. It just stayed there. It just happened by the time the man was there, and then he went back to China. So she got pregnant of him, and I think the father didn't even know, the genitor didn't know. The man with who she had the relationship with didn't know about the child, okay, because he was gone. And we are in the 80s. There wasn't easy way to track someone who is gone at the time. There wasn't easy. The phone, calling internationally wasn't something I was happening. So you understand the context already. Okay, you know that in Africa there are women, they have some relationship like that. They put their trust maybe in the person, or in the tourist, or in the person who just came by, and the person happened not to be serious or just being there for, and then they leave. And then sometimes, most of the cases, some of them, these women got pregnant, and they were on their own with the children, and sometimes misunderstood by the society, the people, the culture. But you understand that the child who was born in the situation like that is assimilated to the mother culture. How can I explain that? It's like we tend to put on the side the fact that he has a mixed race. Okay, so because not knowing the father, not because she didn't even know his full name. She didn't know his full name, so she just gave him the name she remembered about the man to the child. Okay, just to identify him as the race of his father, but she didn't know much. I don't know if she was educated. I'm not even sure she was educated. You understand that. Not judging, of course, understand that. Okay, a situation like that happened. So what happened is he grew up like that. We have situations like that back home. Kids who have from father of other race, and sometimes the father came for a contract of maybe workers, and then they leave, and it happened that they had a relationship like with the women in the country, and then what happened is they leave, and the woman doesn't have any more trace to any more way to track the father, to tell them, look, I have a child from you. It happened. And he was this kind of child, so he was assimilated in the mother culture. He was speaking the native language of the mother, maternal language. He was assimilated like as a black person, when in fact he was mixed. And we weren't really familiar with Asian at the time. We weren't really familiar with Chinese at the time. Understand, we are in early 1980 when he was born, but it wasn't, we weren't used to see them. We didn't really see them that much. They were maybe in some part of time when they were working for contract, but not many. So the child grew up with his siblings who were all black, and the mother black, without a father figure in the home. She was the only one taking care of everyone. So you understand that they were living in a complete hardship. You understand that the life was very difficult for them, very difficult for them. But sometimes as a child, because sometimes people will make joke on him that he was mixed. Okay, that sometimes he will ask question to his mother, where is the father? And the mom to say that, what do you want to know? They don't even know you. You are Chinese, and then your father was Chinese. And then what? They don't know you. Even if what do you want me to say about that? He was asking, you don't even remember something? No, because she was just living the love life that the way she understood it. She didn't know his full name. She didn't know everything about. Maybe it was just a nickname. She just knew. I don't know. So I think at some point it was getting to him like, I am black, but I am also Chinese. So what about the Chinese side of me? But I cannot, I cannot just pass over it, like just ignore that part of me, because obviously I don't look like everybody in my home and even in my classroom. So one day I decided to be interested in the Chinese people, the Chinese people in general. He was interested to, no, one day he woke up, he decided to feel like, look, I'm Chinese and I have to take it, I have to claim it, it's a part of me. So he was sometimes talking to his mom and say, oh mom, me, I'm Chinese too. And the mother would be like, what are you talking about? They don't even know you. They don't even know that you exist. You were just born like that. Oh, please forget about it. So his siblings, everybody were like, oh, who do you think you are? Like good African, like black people, they're always like condescendent in a way. And he was like, no, I'm half Chinese. You like it, you don't like it. I'm still half Chinese. But there was no reference for him there was an embassy, but in a very small town. And there wasn't many Chinese where he was living in town and everywhere. Yeah, there was an embassy, but the embassy wasn't like it really like in the time of a teenager going to high school, and there was still this emptiness in him. So yes, there was a Chinese embassy, but we weren't used to see them. You know, there weren't many of them. Even in the 90s, they start seeing Chinese people a little bit really later on. So he decided to claim his part. He decided to embrace that part of him, that I am Chinese no matter what. And you pick up some movies, you know, like how you call it, the only movie Chinese we didn't have Chinese movies because we didn't even know them a lot. We pick up, you know, at the time we were taking video tapes, you know, movies, video tapes like that. So the only Chinese movie we were often seeing were martial arts, you know, like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, stuff like that. But he wasn't watching these movies for martial art, kung fu, and so on. He was watching because he wanted to see how the Chinese people were how they were living, how they were communicating, how they were eating. He was just trying to observe them through the movies. That was the only way he could have an actual real life about these people that seemed very far from him, but who were a part of him. You see what I mean? So people didn't see it like that. So he was watching the movie often. He, for some reason, started to dress in a certain way. And you know, back home, you can ask, we have what we call tailor. I don't know how you call them in English. People who are sewing, they can cut clothes, they do clothes, you know, we're like a very, not really expensive, but you can afford it. He started doing he started to design, according to what he was watching, how people were dressed. You know, remember that in these movies, there was a time in the 90s that, if you remember, there was we call it Mao color, Mao, in memory of they had a great leader, I mean, a main prominent figure back in the days in China, and his name was Mao Zedong. Mao, if you know what I'm talking about, you studied in high school at the time of the strong China, communist China. And they were this type of shoes, they were wearing black and a little bit white around, and the collar, Mao collar, in memory of this prominent figure. It was very common at the time. So I don't know, the guy, he asked that they can do his clothes out like that, and he was trying to look more and more like a Chinese. You see what I mean? More and more like a Chinese man. So he was trying to people were, of course, in the neighborhood, people start to make fun of him. You know, like how we are African, they start making fun of him. One day he woke up like that and he decided to be Chinese. Call me Chinese. And he started walking, imitating them the way they were walking, okay? And of course, people were laughing. What's wrong with you? Even in school, even in high school, teacher, classmates were making fun of him. Like, what is wrong with you? Now you think you are Chinese? He said, yeah, I'm Chinese. Call me Chinese. And people were like, are you serious? Are you kidding us? You say you are Chinese? At home, his mom, his sibling didn't stop making fun of him. Like, are you serious? You think you are Chinese now? Are you serious? He was walking like a Chinese. He was imitating them, walking like them, was imitating as much as he could. In high school, we have the program of languages, you know. And in high school, our program was English was the first foreign language we studied, besides French. And then French and English, you had to add another language. And for example, me, I pick Spanish. He picked Chinese. He picked Chinese, okay? He studied Chinese in high school, and then it was the only way for him to get even closer to what he was searching for from these people who were unknown to him, far from him, but still in his blood, okay? So for him to take Chinese, because we have different languages. Some of us were studying Italian, Arabic. You name it. We had a certain German, yeah. So if you have a gift, it was a must. We had to study 2 more foreign languages. It was a must for every branch in our high school. So he picked Chinese, which makes sense, right? Because he wanted to get more closer to the people of him. For him to study Chinese wasn't like another student who was studying Chinese just for fun and just for the grades. For him, it was more about surviving in a world that, I don't know how to explain that, but still, we didn't really understand. People were still like, what is wrong with him? Why are you doing that? You are not, they don't even know you, like the mother say. People were laughing. And, later on, really later on, because, when you go to high school, you go to the same class, if you are still in the same branches. And then for some reason, later on, there was a store. There is a lady. I forgot her name. The lady was a Chinese woman. We start to see Chinese people coming little by little in town, really little by little. But we weren't familiar with them at all, of course, because we didn't know them. And most of them, they don't speak French. They didn't even speak English. They were just speaking Chinese like that. So he got close to know, and I think he